Hey guys, it's Morgan coming back to you with another video in the series on winter maintenance on Loretta the Game Changer. She's over there. But we're walking over here to Zach's area, Rich's area right now. But Zach is actually going to be back, and we might even get him in on this video. So stay tuned. He's coming into town for Christmas. If you guys don't know or you haven't been paying attention or you're new to the channel, Zach is my main mechanic here who does most of the revalving and stuff like that. But he has been training with the National Guard. He's been through basic training, and now he's getting trained for his AIT because he joined the National Guard. It's super cool. And he is coming back for Christmas. He's going to be gone again till about March, and he should actually be back in the shop, which would be awesome. But I'm coming over here to his section of the world because he's got way better suspension tools and stuff over here than I do. So, but yeah, today we are going to be rebuilding the shock on my 2023 300XC, which this will be exactly like all of the shocks for 23 and up. Well, all of the linkage shocks for 23 and up, like for forward. So, yeah, let me go grab that thing and let's get to it. All right, here she is. I already ran through the ultrasonic, so that's done. Now we gotta get this thing apart. It's just time, and it's leaking a little bit. Since I've got it off the bike to do all the other work, we might as well go ahead and take care of this too. So I'm also gonna try this out, which I haven't yet used. It's the Motion Pro shock spring compressor. I have no idea how to use it, so you and I are learning together. And the reason I'm doing this is because on this bike, since I got this bike so early, I needed a spring. I ended up going with a 260 spring, and they actually take a 240. And the 260 works, but it likes to hit right there. So we're gonna get the keeper off using the compressor. It's a little cumbersome, if I'm honest, but it works and it seems super safe. So yeah. I'll put a link in the description if you guys want to buy one of these. I bought this one from Rocky Mountain, and I actually did buy it. This was a purchase thing because it's from Motion Pro, and since it's not made by Rocky Mountain, then I end up having to pay for it, so no big deal. Happy to do it. And one thing that this would work really well for would be if you didn't want to lose your preload setting. So if you wanted to keep your preload setting right, you got your sag right and all that, you could just release that and take it off and put it back, so you don't have to mess with the collar at all. All right, now I'm gonna do some more ultrasonicking of all these parts because this thing was disgusting, because I actually ride the crap out of my motorcycle and it just gets that way, and no matter how many times you clean it. And also you don't want to like be blasting the crap out of this thing with high pressure water anyway. So I'm gonna get this thing apart, we'll go into the ultrasonic, and then we'll be back. So nothing super complicated about this. Just tap that guy up, and we're gonna push the seal head down. And you're gonna need a little pick to get the circlip out. Show you guys I'm done with here. Put that circlip out. Set this. Now you're gonna have a couple different circlips. You can have a couple different circlips in this job. So these ones are clearly very different. That one's obviously for the seal heads, the right size. This one is much larger for the can. So I already have a WP bladder style reservoir on this. I removed the piston one that came, but this is a WP part. We're just gonna pull out. I got a bucket under here. Whew. That is gross. Definitely some foam. been too long. That is what happens, guys, with the bladder. I still like the bladder better, but that does happen. If you let the bladder go too long, you get way more foam than you would if you use the piston. But for me, it's worth it. I like the way the bladder functions better. And if I did this every 40 or 50 hours, it wouldn't be like that. All right, we finally got her off. That was a huge pain in the butt. It turns out, let me show you something, guys. This thing's kind of weird. So there's a lip right there. This thing can only go so far down. I was trying to knock it down further like normal, but it will only go so far. So you have to go down as far as you can, and then with the clip, you actually have to squeeze it in and then pull in hard on this to get it out. So a little bit different than a normal bladder style. Like the CSR bladders, the KYB bladder, all that stuff doesn't work like that. So we didn't. All right, guys, while that shock body is in the ultrasonic, trying to get that cleaned up so I can get it apart, let's go ahead and take care of this. Let me bring you guys in a little bit closer. Here we go. And I'll bring you in even closer here in a bit. So we got to take this apart because we got to put a new seal on this and clean this really, really good. Oh, this is a 19 millimeter nut. And guys, when I'm doing these and I'm just rebuilding it and fixing it, I just take some sort of screwdriver here. I'm gonna lift this whole thing off because this is actually relatively clean, but I'm gonna clean it better. I'm not gonna take all the shims apart because this wasn't valved all that long ago. So actually here, I'll show you real fast. What I do, some brake clean. We're gonna get in here, and then with compressed air, and since that's not clamped down, it's blowing through all those shims and making it good. So that's gonna be nice and clean. Clean shaft up really well. While we're doing that, like I do with fork tubes, take a little bit of Scotch-Brite. We're gonna basically put a little crosshatch in there. Now, got our seal head here. So pop that top out spring out. Now, I'll take a flat blade and kind of push the bumper out of the way, get underneath it. Now all this is going to get cleaned a whole bunch. So I'm going to get some brake clean. Take our seal out. It looks like this bushing is getting kind of jacked up, so we're going to take that off too. And we're going to get rid of this dirt scraper. Got just a flat blade here, and we're going to get between the bushing, and then we're just going to knock that sucker out. There you go. You can see that bushing is coming out. We're just going to keep driving her out of there. Being careful not to get into the aluminum on the outside of it. All right. There we go. Now we're going to clean that up, make sure it's all nice and smooth. And I will take a little bit of Scotch-Brite, make sure that is nice and smooth. Got a brand new bushing. All right, guys, so you grab a socket that's nice and big. We'll totally cover that up. And then take our bushing, kind of just get it in there, sort of, it'll kind of stick in there for a bit. Take the big flat part, we're gonna put that over here. And then we're gonna ease it in like this. We're gonna square that up. There we go. New bushing, ready to rock and roll. Got our new dust scraper. And I do that with this too. Kind of squeezes it a little bit, but it gets it on there. There we go. Just got to be a little bit careful not to squeeze too hard because it'll mess up the garter spring, but that's all good. Think this shim goes in first. New seal. Whatever that piece is called. Rubber bumper. And I use vise again because the top out spring kind of doesn't want to go into its home. But this time, because I'm gonna have to push on it pretty hard, I take a big socket, put it over so I don't beat up this seal, the dust seal. Put that in. I'm just gonna run that down. Now I'm gonna take this, dump it into the ultrasonic with the other parts to get all this gunk all loosened up so we get it super clean. All right, shaft out. Ultrasonic cleaners, guys, are so nice because the heat and the vibrations are what breaks all this stuff loose and lets you get it really, really clean. That is just a wonderful thing. makes life so much easier. All right, take our cap. Got our seal head bullet there. New seal head, or got our seal head with new O-ring. There we go. Now we're going to take our valve stack and slide that all on. Going to clean our nut and shaft really well. Dry them off. And yes, these do have a lock nut on them, but I still like to use a little bit of red thread locker. Not a ton, but just a little bit. Normally I'd be using stuck nuts, but Zach has some Worth stuff over here still, so we're going to use that. When you tighten this down, guys, want to make sure you get all the excess off of there and it does not go down into the hole. I'll show you that hole. You don't want any thread locker going down in there. If it does, you got to clean it out, because that is your bypass hole. It goes to the needle that's in here, and if you get that down in it, it'll stick the needle. It's a pain in the butt. So I like to fill this up. To about there. Not real scientific. Just get it up relatively high because you're going to add some more later. I'm going to go in here with this. And we're just going to slowly pump up and down. Try to get all the air out. And we're going to still bleed it with the bleed cup later to make sure we get all the air out. But the better job we do now, the less we got to do with the bleed cup. When you're done bleeding it and you got, at least most of the air out, you're going to raise this up pretty far. Top this off just a little bit, like almost up to the circlip line. You can see right there. Then we're going to take our seal head. We're going to drop that down in. There we go. Circlip. Pull up on it until it stops, tops out. Take our air, really try to get everything cleaned out of there that you can. And this is not a perfect seal, but like I said, you just want to get it as clean as you can. Put that there. Take our plastic hammer. All right. Now, I'm going to flip her over. Shock her up. There. And here's where our bleed cup comes in. We're going to remove this screw and install this bleed cup. And now we add some oil. And we're just going to pump it up and down till all the bubbles are gone. Make sure you got something underneath you, catch a little bit. I filled this up probably a little bit much, so there's going to be some bleed over here as I, there we go, there we go. Got a bunch of air, so hopefully that'll help with that. And this is tedious when you don't have a shock pump, guys. You know, the vacuum pumps are awesome. They do make this go a lot faster, but they're very expensive. You know, you can do this on your own. I wouldn't say I've been against shock pumps, but I've been kind of like, I don't know. But I've recently been talking to the people at, it's like LABA7, and we're trying to work out a deal where maybe they'll sponsor me one, and I can tell you guys about it, see how good it is, see how much time it saves us. There we go. Let that bleed over. Again, bucket underneath us, catching all that so it's not on the ground. And I like to leave it up like that, just let it get all the little bubbles, a tiny little bubble. Here, I'll show you. Those tiny little bubbles, you're gonna let those all come up to the surface and pop. And then we'll suck it back down in so we're not pulling more bubbles back in. All right, guys, one thing I like to do when I'm bleeding this is I take a dead blow. I mean, this is a plastic hammer, kind of a dead blow. Anyway, I kind of hit the clevis, and that will usually get more bubbles out. I just did see one, because by shocking it like that, you'll actually dislodge bubbles between shims. So we are getting very, very close to this being done here. All right, we got that bled, ready to rock and roll, bolts back in it. Now, we're gonna fill it up with nitrogen. All right, we're gonna do 150 PSI. Now, I'm gonna check it by pushing her down, feeling for any kind of ticking as we push it down all the way, and then we're going to let it come back up. Keep our finger on it. That way you can listen and hear if you hear any tick, 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 tick. And also, as your finger is actually even sometimes more sensitive than your ear, definitely my ears, because I've been riding dirt bikes for too long. And if there's any air in there, you'll feel it. But right now, it feels pretty good. Perfect. I like it. All right, now I got to clean this up really good before I put it back on, just because I want to make it look nice, since we're making everything else look good on the bike. All right, that's ready to rock and roll. All right, now I'm gonna go grab the cool new part I'm putting on this. All right, you guys saw me take this plastic thing off there, this two-piece steel. These things suck. Mine has been fine for 165 hours, but when I look at it really closely, it's actually not just dirty, it's getting chewed up. So SDI has an aluminum one, and I'm feeling it right now. I mean, obviously this is just my hands, but like for real, like how much more scientific do you need to feel? Like this feels the same between the two. Maybe this is just a tiny bit heavier, but if it is, it's like grams, which who cares? So yeah, excited about that, because plastic on the shock just seems silly. Just like this bottom collar, I don't like that being plastic, but I mean, it is, whatever. Seems to be, they seem to do okay, so I guess whatever. But I'm excited to be running this guy now. Oh, not quite there. There we go. Not only is it metal now and way stronger, I think it looks good too. This is all ready to rock and roll, guys. Just got to set the sag once I get it back on the bike and clean it really good right now, just because it's dirty, me messing with it and all that. But I hope that was informative. Hope that helps you guys. Hope you enjoy that video. A little how-to on servicing these new shocks, and definitely a plug for this part from SDI. I don't make any money, just call SDI Suspension Direct Incorporated, or whatever they're called. Just Google SDI suspension, buy one of those things. They're awesome. Yeah, set the clickers back, we'll be good to go. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you on the next one.